Hello, Good Shepherd and Saints Francis and John. I am Father Lin Nguyen with Saints Francis and John. This week we prepare for the solemnity of our Lord Jesus Christ, King of the universe. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John. Pilate said to Jesus, "Are you the King of the Jews?" Jesus answered, "Do you say this on your own? Or have others told you about me?" Pilate answered, "I am not a Jew, am I? Your own nation and the chief priests handed you over to me. What have you done?" Jesus answered, "My kingdom does not belong to this world. If my kingdom did belong to this world, my attendants will be fighting to keep me from being handed over to the Jews. But as it is, my kingdom is not here." So Pilate said to him, "Then you are a king?" Jesus answered, "You say I am a king? For this I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice." Happy Solemnity of Christ the King to everyone. Friend, why this celebration? Here is the excerpt of United States Conference of Bishops on the background of the solemnity of our Lord Jesus Christ, King of the universe, or known as Christ the King. It is the last Sunday celebration of each liturgical year before the beginning of Advent as the new liturgical season. Pope Pius XI instituted this feast in 1925 with his encyclical Quas Primas in the first. To respond to the growing secularism and atheism, he recognized that this attempting to thrust Jesus Christ and his holy law out of public life would result in continuing discord among people and nations. This solemnity reminds us that while governments come and go, Christ reigns as King forever. During the early 20th century, in Mexico, Russia, and some parts of Europe, militantly secularistic regimes threaten not just the Catholic Church and its faithful, but civilization itself. Pope Pius XI's encyclical gave Catholic hope, and while governments around them crumble, the assurance that Christ the King shall reign forever. Jesus is fully God and fully man. He is both the divine Lord and the man who suffered and died on the cross. One person of the Trinity unites himself to the human nature and reigns over all creation as the incarnate Son of God. From this, it follows not only that Christ is to be adored by angels and men, but that to him as men, angels, and men are subject and must recognize his empire by reason of hypostatic union. Christ has power over all creatures. The Church calls us to acknowledge Christ's kingship with our whole lives. He must reign in our minds, which should assent with perfect submission and firm belief to reveal truths and to the doctrines of Christ. He must reign in our wills, which should obey the laws and precepts of God. He must reign in our hearts, which should spurn natural desires and love God above all things and cleave to him alone. He must reign in our bodies and our members, which should serve as instruments for the interior sanctification of our souls, or to use the words of the Apostle Paul, as instrument of justice unto God. Today, religious freedom for many people means that we can believe whatever we want in private, but when we enter the public square or the marketplace, we may not speak of anything that relates to our faith. However, the church acknowledges the reign of Christ not only privately but publicly. This solemnity encourages us to celebrate and live out our faith in public. Thus, by sermons preached at meetings and in churches, by public adoration of the Blessed Sacrament exposed, and by solemn processions, men unite in paying homage to Christ, whom God has given them for their King. For Christians, when our faith is repeatedly marginalized in public life, we can fall into the habit of compartmentalizing our lives. We love Jesus in our private lives, but we shrink from acknowledging the kingship of Christ in social life. When we celebrate the solemnity of Christ the King, we declare to the world and remind ourselves that Jesus is the Lord of the church and of the entire universe. And here is a family activity. With your family, talk about what if Jesus returned this Advent? What would he find each member of your family doing in preparation for meeting him? God bless, and see you at Mass.